we'll see what happens.
Are you
For kids at home, if you did not have me today, this is the story that we'll get to. My final story I have for you.
Oh, so sad.
We'll get to
We're
that.
gonna show them.
There we go. This was my hair this morning. I had one of my basketball players this year. Libby came in. We made a bet during the basketball season that if she made 1 bucket in 7th grade, if she could make 5 buckets in 8th grade, I would let her do my hair one day. And she made it all the way to 7. And she finally contacted me last night. Was like, "Can I come in and do your hair?" And I was like, "Fine." So she did my hair for me this morning. So go her. So that's why my hair looks the way it does. It was not mine. It was
So
hers.
cutesy.
I thought it was, she
Her
gave me
mom
bubble
was-
braids. I've always had the dream of bubble braids, so I was pretty excited.
Her mom was my bus driver in intermediate.
Her mom seems pretty cool. Again today, so we have 3rd period. Next class, 5th period, is your last class.
No, but we have to go to 6th period.
You will go to 6th for about 3 minutes.
Yay! I mean,
They will call you down to the Aux Gym for the Heroes
I have
Awards.
this form
and you
for
walk through all of that stuff. And
I
then
have-
Nobody cares.
It's okay, I'm not talking. Please stop. Hey, that's mine.
Yep, as soon as it became a distraction, it became mine. As soon
Wait,
as
can I
she
have it back later?
Yeah, talk to me later. So again, as we go through it from there, you will be dismissed at 4, and then that is when you will head out to buses and stuff like that. Hi, Jude.
When did the other teams do the awards?
Same time.
Oh, they just.
Yep, one does it in the LGI, one does it in the main gym. 8th grade does not. When you get to 8th grade, they don't have awards for you. They do just go and do classes and stuff like that. Only 7th grade cares.
Boring.
End of day, before I get to end of day, for you guys it's a little bit easier, but I did put the class photos on there, and then for you guys, if you want yesterday's thing, if you were gone yesterday, Jude, or for whatever reason you want to hear it again, I did for you guys, because this is my regular class one, but yours is just the Tuesday link, and you're good. I will,
why do we not have a black thing like the stars do?
because we're not stars. Hi, what's up?
We're better. Do I bring my backpack to
Not
the
better than
Austrian
me.
or
Nope.
not? Okay, sounds good.
End of day, if you have any school supplies that are still in decent shape, I ask that you please don't throw them away. I can reuse them for kids next year, so one of 2 things. If you bring them to me, and you can either just put them on my desk, or you can put them over here, and I'll be happy because then next year I can help. I don't want your trash. Don't bring me like a nasty, ratty notebook, but if you still have things in good shape, I'm happy to take them. Or leave them in your locker. Take out the trash, but tomorrow I go through all the lockers and I start pulling out stuff to help kids, and I will just pull them out of your locker to save them then. But I'm just trying to help future kids not have to scrounge for supplies if I can be nice to someone. Russell?
How much do you get paid for that?
And then don't forget, class pictures are also posted on the Canvas page if you're wanting them. Then, here's where I get to my last story I have for you guys. I try to finish with a high note, so that's for yesterday, the whole trying to find happiness, because some people had emotions yesterday or something. Today, I'm going to tell you a story about the fight I got into when I was in junior high.
Yes. When you were a football player.
Actual, like, punchy fight.
Good job, we broke
Hi,
the
Madison.
Can I go to the bathroom real quick?
Again, you don't have to raise
Did
your
you
hand.
I'm sorry. Wait, can I do that again so I can walk out on you?
Sure.
Thanks.
Hi, Henry.
Do you have to have a certain amount of points to like come back and get?
So when you see the story, it's going to deal with football teams. And so I did not play football in 7th grade.
Hey, look, they did your hair.
Yeah. Should we take a picture of you real quick?
Yeah. I was just talking about the 2 of you up there. I know, so we'll get it with the picture in the background.
Okay.
All right.
Can someone take a picture?
I have a long one.
Oh, you do? Okay, that's cool.
I grew it myself.
I have to take a picture of you. Yeah. I grew it myself.
Just got that. So proud.
Oh, wait. I'll go over
Yeah,
here.
it's so embarrassing. Okay. Ready? Hang on, let's back up so we get that
Oh,
picture.
right. I love how we're like, wait. I want to take a picture of this picture.
Are you still recording? Please
Uh-huh.
tell me
I
you're
am
still
still
recording.
Can I be in a YouTube video? Please take a picture of your hair.
No, because I don't want creepy people to come after you.
Okay, I'm here. No, I'm just kidding.
You're already in it.
Their
faces
right.
are
Oh,
on
we're
the
already
screen.
in it.
Well, no,
Their
face that way.
faces
I
are
mean,
on the
technically your face is. Oh, wait.
Can I like be in it?
Technically, it
Can I
already
say
has
hi?
our names on it.
I could be lying. It could
Hi.
be. Oh, my good God.
Okay, peace out, everybody.
Bye.
I apologize if
And their
creepy people hunt you down on the internet.
You did such a great job with his hair.
Have fun.
You ate.
You make a bet with him, he'll do it.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
I
bet you
bet
can find football next year.
Okay. So 7th grade, I did not play football because I had no ability. 8th grade, I decided to play sports for the first time, not counting when I was played baseball for a day and then quit, or I played soccer for one season in 4th grade and then quit. 8th grade, I decided this was the time I was going to
play
commit
football.
and get better,
Of all
and I chose football.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about football.
Weren't you literally talking about Noah joining it?
I never played football, never watched football, never heard of the positions.
He was
I knew
afraid.
one thing about football, and this is why I wanted to play it. The popular kids played. And I figured if the popular kids played football, then if I played football,
That's not how
I would become popular. It seemed like simple math.
In the wrong.
Did not turn out that way. So in the picture up here, I'm this guy.
Oh,
I knew. I just figured.
So happy for you. The skinny Twiggy
That's
one.
a bad number.
By the way, I have one more picture for you that's even better.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Oh, what the? That is not it.
Oh, it is it.
Holy bucket.
So, here's how the story begins. I
I do not what you're
joined football 8th grade and had no idea what I was doing. And I remember going out the first day, and luckily my school was small enough, Noblesville, there were no cuts, so I automatically made the team. And I remember the coach, Coach Hal, asked me, he was my 7th grade science teacher, so when I went out for an 8th grade, he was like, Broviak! He was like, what position can you play? I didn't know the names of any positions, so my response was, all of them, because that way I didn't have to name a position. Didn't work out well when he had me try out for quarterback. And I was like, I got it. And the ball rolled in front of me, and he was like, son, you can't throw. And I'm like, nope. I did the same thing for catching, it went right through my hands. I did the same thing for running, where I got flattened. Turns out you have to have this thing called skill in order to play football. A thing that I did not have.
Hey, this was the point
But
of the story where I stuck my
you're
face
still
in the
talking.
window.
And this is where I decided instead I would use this thing called stubbornness, and I would just keep trying. Now, they did find a position for me called left out, but luckily I slowly worked myself up till I got to play on actual games. And so it was on kickoff and kickoff return. Those of you who actually know football, the kicking of the ball and the catching of the ball, the coach figured I could not hurt the team on kickoff and kickoff return. I did eventually make defense as a tight end. Not a tight end, sorry, defensive end. And the reason is because as the coach explained it to me, one, that's not scary when you're on the offense and you see that coming at you. It looks like an octopus in a uniform with little things coming at you.
You doing defense?
But, that was me being defense. But as the coach explained it to me, Broviak, even you can figure this out. When they hike the ball, you follow the ball. Wherever it goes, you tackle them. And I was like a dog. And he goes, yes, son, like a dog. So that's what I did. Whenever they would hike the ball, I would just run after the ball the entire time, trying to do my best to try and tackle them. I wasn't very good. So Darren, kid on the team who was popular and could play football and had these things called skills. I was tall, skinny person, and Darren was short than me, and he had these things called muscles all over his body. I'm still waiting to get my own. And so he decided that I should not play football. So very first day on the team, he saw me, and he just walks up and goes, quit the team, you suck. And I went, no. I'm like, nice to meet you too. And so this continued for a week, where every day he'd just take time out, he'd leave his friends, walk over to me and go, quit the team, you suck. And I'm like, nice to meet you too. So when he realized that wasn't going to work, he decided to up his game. So about a week or so into practice, coach has us doing these things called the hitting drill or line drill, where you would get into three-point stance and you would get across from someone else in a three-point stance across the line. Coach blows whistle, and then you come off the line and you just hit the person in front of you to try to get used to getting that line pressure and pushing them. And I remember the first time, have you guys seen those foam pool noodles you can slap?
Yes.
Okay, when I did the line drill, that's what it looked like. It looked like someone taking pool noodles and slapping them together. Because I'd be like, go, and it's like, ah! And I would just go hit. I was bad. So a couple days of Darren watching this, and he was like, okay, I'm getting involved. So one day, I line up, and I get into my little three-point stance, and Darren walks over to the guy across from me, and Darren just lifts the kid up in the three-point stance, and then drops him over, and then Darren goes and lines up across from me. I'm like, this is new. And he gets into his little 3-point stance. He looks at me, he's like, "Arr!" And I'm like, I don't like this. Coach blows the whistle, and I come at him in my aggressive manner. And he did this thing called skill, where he went low and then came up and used his palms to catch me underneath my pads. And because he had strength, he lifted me into the air with my little legs kicking, and then went hit, and I went onto the ground behind me. And then he walked over me and goes, "Quit the team, you suck." And I'm like, as I got back up, and I was like, well, you're right on that one. So this continued for several days of him lining up across from me and him just flattening me over and over again. What Darren didn't expect is that by doing this, he made me a better football player. Because I started watching the other kids, like, why aren't those kids falling on their butts? Like, what are they doing different? I'm like, oh, they're like lowering their center of gravity. You're not just running at them, standing straight up like a Tyrannosaurus. I'm like, So I remember that I got real excited. I'm like, oh, that's what you guys are doing. So I got in my little 3-point stance. Coach blows the whistle, and instead of going big, I went low. And I still remember, I hit Darren, and we both, instead of me flying backwards, we hit each other, and like our mass right there, and I'm like pushing, like, and the coach blows the whistle, I'm like, you didn't knock me! And he just goes, boom, right into my chest. And I went, yeah! And I went flying backwards and landed. He went back and he was like, quit the team! I'm like, God, give it up. So I ended up for several days not getting knocked down, which I got excited about. Darren did not get excited about. So Darren goes and recruits his friend, Rob Bennett. Rob was his close friend, and Rob was also shorter than me, but he didn't have muscles. He just had roundness. He had weight. And I remember lining up where one day when Darren decided to up his game, I lined up across from Darren as normal, and this person and the person across from me, Rob, his friend, walks up and just pushes this kid, because Rob couldn't pick him up, and Rob pushes that kid out of the way, and then Rob lines up. So I'm like, okay, this is different. So I get into my 3-point stance. Darren gets across from me. Rob is next to him, and there's a random kid here. And I'm like, okay, I don't know, let's go. This is a different thing. And like, they're both looking at me, giving me that, yeah. And I'm like, okay. And coach blows the whistle, and Rob doesn't even go for this kid. Rob comes straight at me, and they both hit me. And at the same time, and I go, ah! And I went flying backwards. And they both stood over me and went, quit the team. And I'm like,
quit the team! You suck!
It's like bringing it all back to me. And so this continued for several days, but I did get better. And I remember, you'll have to wait, I got all the way to the final game of the season. And at Noblesville, final game of the season, you play at the high school at a night game, and they have like the big spotlights on the field. It was all so exciting. And I actually got to play, and at this point, I had gotten good enough, thanks to Darren bullying me, where I was actually on, whenever they would do like extra points or would do field goal, I was on the defense for that one, because I was tall, and the coach was like, you have one good thing, Broviak, you're tall. And I'm like, thanks, coach. And so I could like stand up there and be like a little guardian. Well, this game, I was in there multiple times. I got to play more than one play, and we were winning going into the end of the game. And we were up by like 1 or 2 points, and they had to have a field goal to win. And I remember they drove all the way down, and it was like the last play, and they're getting ready to kick the field goal, and our coach sends out the field goal blocking, whatever it is, and we go running out there, and it's me. And I'm like, I'm on for the final play, yeah. And I go out there, and I remember being taller than most of the other kids. I could see over the line, and I was in the little back area, and I watched the kid hike, and then the kid run. I lined myself. Have you guys ever seen the car dealerships?
Yes. Yeah.
I channeled that as best I could. And I'm like, car dealership, here I come. And I went as tall as I could, and I went with my hands, and I felt the football hit my fingers. It was the first time the football had hit my hand all season, but I was excited. Like I went up, it was like, felt my hands like, oh! And I hit the ground, I turned around, and the ball was there. Not through the uprights, there. And I'm like, I did a thing! Me! On the team! And I was like, oh! It's like that moment that you see in the sports movies, where like everyone comes off the side and they're all running and they're excited, and I'm like, I'm gonna have my moment, I'm gonna have my moment. And the coach is running onto the field, and Coach Towell's like, who did that? Who stopped it? And I'm like, yeah, buddy. And I go, it's. And before I can say anything, Darren jumps in front of me. And he goes, that was me, coach. Did it for you. And the coach goes, good job, Darren. And I get a high five. I'm like, what? But Darren was popular. And he could, and I remember even he did it. He turned around and gave me this like that look. And you're just like, I just want to. But there wasn't anything I could do. I knew in my heart I did a thing. But that was as far as it went. And I was like, fine. We'll let this go. Learning moment. I had it. I touched that ball. He can have his credit. Whatever. Next day, we have the end of the season. Like we have to turn in the uniforms. Like the coach like calls everyone, has like a little awards party thing. And we were in the locker room, which was a lot like our locker rooms here. We have those weird little aisles. You have to like walk down the lockers. And I had gone to turn in my uniform, and I was walking back down that tight little locker area. And for whatever reason, Darren decided this was the time that he was going to walk down that same little tight area. We were right next to each other. And he did that shoulder bump thing. When you walk by somebody, you hit him with your shoulder. And when he did, he just sort of like walked by, and I'm like, I'm ignoring you. It's the last day. I don't. And he went, boom! And it hit me with his shoulder enough that like I spun. And this was the first time in my life that I had ever had that anger thing where you see red and you kind of lose what you're doing and sort of like eat for a moment. And I yeeped for a moment. And I went, "Argh!" And I turned around, and in a spot, I ran at him. And to use you as a second, come here, Noah. I wrapped my hands into his jersey and then picked him up. If you've ever seen, like in like the movies, like when the mom can flip the car over when her baby's trapped because of the strength, that I have no idea where it came from. And I picked him up, and I started slamming him against the locker. And I was like, what is your major problem? And his head was smacking against the lockers each time. And I'm like, your issue, I'm like, you're such a... And I had a moment, and all of a sudden I realized everyone's staring at me. I'm like, I look around, and the whole team, like, they're like...
Embarrassing.
And I had like, oh... And I remember like him, like, as he slid down the wall. And then I'm just staring at him. And he's like right there. And I still have a hold of his shirt. And I'm like, And he gets in my face. He's like, do you want to fight?
Yes.
And that's what I said.
The baseball diamond.
I said, yes, I do. And he goes, after we get done with this, meet me at the baseball diamond. And I go, okay, sure. Because we had a baseball diamond right across the parking lot. And so from there, we had like the rest of practice where he kept giving me like the little looky starey thing. And end of practice, we all, like the whole team knew this thing was coming. We had spent the whole rest of practice, and all my friends were like, you're going to get killed. I'm like, I know I'm going to die. They're like, you're fighting Darren. He has muscles. And I'm like, I've heard of those things. And so like at the end of practice, our whole team goes out to the baseball diamond. And it's like you see in movies. Him and I were over home plate doing like the little fighty stance, and the team formed a circle around us doing the little chanty thing. And I had never hit anybody because I had a younger brother and I got grounded every time I hit him, but I really hated Darren and I wanted to punch him. And I remember us like doing the little circly thing, and I remember like looking at my hands going, okay, you're just gonna punch him right in the face. All right, righty, you're gonna just punch him, get right. And as I was looking at my hands, thinking it through, Darren just goes, wham, and punched me in the nose. It rocked my head back, and that activated red mode for the second time in my life. And I remember I just went, boom, and I just went, Argh! I'm not proud of this. I launched myself at him like an angry cat. I just went, Argh! And I flew through the air, no swinging. I landed on his chest and rode him to the ground. And he hit the ground on top of the home plate, and then I just started swinging. I remember I was hitting him, I hit home plate, I hit dirt, I hit another kid, I hit a bird. Like, I didn't care. Like, my arms were just going, and there's like spittle flying, like, I hate you, you're a bully, you're the worst person ever. And then eventually, he starts screaming, fights over, fights over. And I felt hands pulling me backwards. And I was like, what? And he stands up, and his friends come running over. And he's got like blood and some cuts, but I had blood from when he hit me. And he goes, I drew first blood. I win. You lose. I'm the winner. And I remember my response was, what? I'm not done hitting you yet. I like how it feels.
You tell him, Mr. Broviak.
And he goes, it doesn't matter. Where I'm from in the streets, first blood wins. And I'm like, we're both from Noblesville. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, streets? I'm like, you live on a court. But that was it. And like, he walks away with all of his friends. They're like, good job, Darren, you won. And my friends came over and they're like, what was that? I'm like, that was a fight. Like, no, the thing where you went through the air. Like, what was that thing? And I'm like, oh, I don't know what that thing was. That was just me attacking him. And then I had to go out and explain to my mom that I got into a fight, and she bought me ice cream. And that was the time I got into a fight.